Welcome to Oracle APM tutorial series. In this video, I would like to demonstrate how you can instrument Oracle e-Business Suite application with APM tracers. My name is Yutaka Takatsu. I am one of the product managers in Observability and Management product management team in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Here is the program agenda. To monitor EBS application with APM, you will need to collect three types of tracing data. They are server data, browser data, and forms data. Each type of data requires a specific data collection option. In this video, I would like to show you how you can instrument EBS with different tracers to collect each type of data. Also, there are a few additional configurations I would like to show you as they enhance the accuracy of the monitoring. And lastly, I would like to demonstrate how you can use the APM Trace Explorer product to view and analyze EBS data that is collected by APM tracers. The first step of the instrumentation in our program is to configure a tracer to collect the server-side data. APM provides different types of tracers and agent depends on the setup of the application. And because EBS is a Java-based application which runs on WebLogic server, we will use APM Java agent. And as for prerequisites, you need to collect the data upload endpoint and private data key of the APM domain. You can see this information in the APM domain homepage in Oracle console. Here is the data upload endpoint, and here are the data keys. Also, download APM Java Agent installer and upload to the compute instance where the application is running. And you will need to provision Java Agent from a command line. Syntax to provision the Java agent can be found in APM documentation. And here is the collected information: data upload endpoint, data keys, and command to provision the agent. And this will be the actual command I'll be running to provision the agent. This is the agent file name. The verb is provision agent. Here the service name. Destination is in the same directory. And here are private data key and also data upload endpoint. I'm going to copy this text. In my laptop, I open the terminal and log on to the application's host. Java Agent installer was already uploaded to the working directory. So I'm going to paste the copied command and execute. Provisioning was successful. So this is where the agent was provisioned. Next, you need to deploy the agent. To deploy the APM Java agent on Java application, you need to add Java agent parameter to the JVM startup script. How to deploy the agent is different by how the application is set up. If the application runs on a container, you may need to edit the YAML file or Docker file and restart the pods. In case of the EBS application, because the servers are running as WebLogic managed servers, you can update the Java startup argument in the WebLogic administration console web user interface. Scrolling down. And here, the command must point to the location where the APM Java agent was provisioned. Next, let's set the argument. So here, WebLogic Server Administration Console open in my screen. So from the domain structure, under the environment, click Servers. And where you need the Java agent are these two managed servers, OA Core and OA FM. So let's select OA Core and server start. And find the argument section. This is where you need to add a Java agent parameter. I'm going to add a Java agent parameter on top of the existing arguments. Then click Save. Repeat for RUI APM as well. Go to the server starts. And add it in front of the existing arguments. Click Save and activate the changes. And once the changes are made, restart the servers. Soon the server-side traces and spans will be sent to the APM service. Next, I would like to enable browser-side traces by instrumenting the APM browser agent to the front-end side of the application. This can be done by manually inserting the JavaScript to the default page such as index.html. But in case of Java applications, APM provides an automatic instrumentation by enabling the injection option in the Java agent configuration file. Let's see how that can be done. So I am back at the terminal where I log on to the application's host. I'm going to the agent installation directory, Oracle APM agent config 1.6, which is the agent version, and open agent config properties file. And scroll down to find the injection section and update the parameters. Paste the public key and change the web application name to EBS demo web app, and enable the browser service name to show it differently from the server-side service. EBS demo web. Save and close the file. And this enables the APM browser agent in a minute or two. And unlike the server-side tracers, the browser agent does not require a restart on the application to take effect. So upon navigating the pages on the website, browser traces and spans are collected by APM, and we will be able to see them in a Trace Explorer or dashboard in APM console. To monitor EBS application with APM, you will need tracers in different components: server, browser, and forms. We have already instrumented APM Java agent for WebLogic server and configured the injection to enable the browser agent. Next, we'll need to configure RUI to capture traces from the forms portion of the EBS. RUI installation can be done either manually or by provisioning the Marketplace app in Oracle Cloud. If your EBS application resides in Oracle Cloud, it is recommended to use the Marketplace app because the deployment is easier than setting it up manually. RUI app can be found in the Oracle Cloud console. Select Navigation menu, Marketplace, All Applications, type RIO, and here it is. Select your compartment and launch Stack. And once you enter all the configuration information in this wizard, the provisioning will start and it will take approximately 15 minutes to complete. And there is a white paper having step-by-step instructions how to deploy RUI app and monitor EBS using L2TP tunneling. So please follow the documentation for setting up the monitoring of the EBS using RUI app. And the link to the documentation can be found in the description of this video. As for the licensing cost, if RUI is used only as a part of APM solution, the restricted use of the RUI license is included with APM service. So there will be no additional licensing cost for using RUI as long as it is used as a tracer to send data to APM. Once RUI is deployed and L2TP tunnel is set up between the RUI and EBS server and confirm that the data flows into RUI, You can run a couple of commands in the RUI server to forward the forms data to APM. Let's see how that can be done. I have a terminal window open in my screen connected to a compute instance where I have RUI server installed. And first, I'm going to set environment variables. I have RUI user specified in this file. Then connect with a RUI user. And going to run a command that allows RUI to forward the data to APM. Here you specify the name of the suite that you defined in the RUI console. Here is the data upload endpoint of your APM domain. And here is the private data key. And this command forwards all RUI data to APM. That includes forms or non-forms such as HTML or JSP-based data. On the other hand, you already have JSP pages monitored by the APM browser agent. So only you need from RUI is a form-based data. To avoid the duplicated spans generated for JSP pages, there is an additional command you can run to filter the data. And by running this command, only the forms-based data is forwarded to APM. Now all three traces are configured: server, browser, and forms. But there are a few additional settings you will need to configure. First configuration is abridged settings. EBS runs hundreds of SQL statements to the database while a user navigates through the UI. While these SQLs run mostly less than 10 milliseconds, so it is not important from the monitoring perspectives, each request still becomes an individual span and shows up in a trace explorer trace details page. This can make the trace chart hard to read, also can lead to missed important spans. You can eliminate the excessive number of insignificant spans by configuring the abridged trace settings in the APM Java agent. So in my terminal, I am back at EBS host. I'm going to open the probe config file from the Java agent installation directory. Scroll down, and here are the abridged parameters. And I would like to make a change at the summarize parameter to true so that I can see what spans are dropped. Then copy the content that I pre-configured and paste it under settings by probe. By doing this, JDBC spans within a single trace will show up only when the duration is more than 10 milliseconds. So any JDBC span with a duration less than 10 milliseconds, you will not see it listed in a trace details chart. Save and close this window. Another configuration must be done for the EBS monitoring is a user session capturing. To capture username used to log on to the EBS application from the browser, you need to define user-defined attribute in the browser agent. And this can be done by editing the browser agent template file in the Java agent installation directory. Here I open the browser agent template file with an editor, make it editable, and copy the JavaScript which captures the username into the file. Save the file and close the window. And because I changed the cookie settings, existing cookie has to be removed. Open the browser, go to the settings, and remove the existing cookies. The JavaScript to capture username, also the example used to configure the abridged settings, can be found in APM documentation. The last configurations that are needed to be done are related to the session tracking in RUI. Oracle Cloud configuration uses a cookie which is not used by RUI by default. To ensure the correct session tracking in Oracle Cloud, you need to add a cookie to RUI. So first log on to RUI web user interface and select configuration. Applications, then Suites. Select your EBS suite, open Advanced tab, and Session Tracking. Click Add Session Tracking link. Select Custom Cookie, then type in OCI track. Click Save. This will track the session in Oracle Cloud. Also, session parameter for forms must be updated. Click Forms, click the session parameter, and update it to JSessionID forms. Click Save. Okay, so I have configured tracers and restarted the application after deployed Java agent parameters in WebLogic servers. Also completed all the required additional configurations. So let's navigate to the EBS pages and generate traffic. Logging in with sysadmin user. Expand HRMS Manager, Vision University. Expand people. And manage contracts. Forms application is loaded to the screen. Search for a person. Select and see the details. Okay, so that is what I want to see. So close the window. Exit Oracle Applications. Then log out. Okay, here I am in the Oracle Cloud homepage. From the navigation menu, select Observability and Management and Trace Explorer. I see the traces loaded into the screen. Traces with the service name OA Core. These are the traces from the WebLogic servers. And Web indicates the traces from the browser agent. And the forms are coming from RUI. Now let's see these traces by the session. So there is a one session with sysadmin user, so this must be my session. Open the traces. And sort the time by the ascending order. And let me open a query from the history view, which loads the same result, but showing only the service and operation names. And you can see the series of traces listed in the order they were requested. So starting from the connection to the server, first page load of the login page, partial update was in the login page, which is an AJAX call. Then another full page load, which is for the EBS main homepage. And there are a couple of page loads and a page click, which were resulted from the navigating tree view. Then launching Forms window. And from here, I see Forms actions, such as menu key stub, text field cursor option, button mouse click, or button press, for example. And there are a series of Forms actions. And here's a form window close, which exits Forms window and eventually come back to the home page, then log out. I can also see the statistics by EBS specific dimensions. For example, clicking EBS responsibility name shows the EBS responsibility I visited during the page navigation. I can also see the form names or module names. And clicking the node, you can see the trace and span details. So for example, this is a span for a mouse click action down in the Forms window. I can see the list of dimensions, including EBS dimensions such as form name, framework name, module name, responsibility name, also the user input, where I typed A% in the search window. Other information includes location of the user, URL and host information, page response times, and other client information. Next, let me click the browser-based trace. So in this trace, there are two services nested within. Light blue spans are the browser spans having client information, and the span with dark blue color is a server-side span. You can see the scissors icon, indicating there are JDBC spans abridged. And opening the span details view, you can see the abridged related dimension. So there are 42 spans that are abridged, and their max duration time was 4 milliseconds. Aptex level indicates the page performance was satisfied, and here are application server related information. You can also see the compute instance information where the application server is hosted. And because the app server resides in Oracle Cloud, it has a related cloud information as well. In the logs section, you can see the top 5 SQLs that are abridged because the summarize option was enabled in the configuration file. This concludes the demonstration of instrumenting Oracle E-Business Suite application with APM tracers. Thank you for watching.